is. All right, so let's talk a little bit about these Wildcats
What
because
just happened? What just happened?
he's just celebrating. He's just celebrating. Give him a little hug, cheering.
Oh.
Courtney Ramey with the big shot. I think that's the big question I have with them, right? It's two things. How well are they going to be able to guard, right, when you have the two big guys out there? And do you trust their backcourt, RC?
They've been good all year. I think they play at a pace when the ball's moving and popping. I think they're better defensively than people give them credit for, one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they can score the ball. They're a legit team. I think I've always – the only concern that I have is that 4 spot if they play against a perimeter-oriented stretch 4.
Right.
Just a matchup thing. That's the only question mark where I'm like, because you can't switch with Azula Sabelis. You can't switch guards on him in the tournament. So other than that, I'm in on this team. If they get the right matchup, they can make a run. I'm down on them.
Yeah, I think the front court is certainly the strength, and there are some issues defensively, but they've found ways to kind of cover
they
that
protect
up.
the paint.
So that's a big part of that. The backcourt at the beginning of the year scared me. I think Kirk Reese scared me, the emotional instability. However, they've been good. And not only that, Colin Boswell's now a sophomore, right? I mean, this is the end of the season.
Yep.
It's a talented kid, big body, can compete physically with any point guard in college basketball. Is he needed for long periods of time? No, but he could also spell you to at least give Kerr a breather or a mental break rather than a breather, because he can get up in arms, and sometimes you have to bring him over there, calm him down, give him a little woosah. Got to get my man Kerr a little woosah, and then send him back in there. And Kylan Boswell developing into that solid backup role certainly helps those things.
I think both of those guys, Krisa and Azula's playing for their national teams. I think there've been some growth there.
Oh, and Pele Larson, the same thing.
And Pele Larson, you're right. I think those guys playing on their national teams, there's just some growth there that I think we'll see. I don't think this team will fade in the tournament as the way they did a year ago.
Oh, man. So you guys are going to make me be the one that says it?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're going to make me be the
We've
one
been the
that
bad
says
guys pretty much the direction.
Yeah.
Today.
So for this team has a lot of the same questions, a lot of the same pieces that they had last year. The two bigs playing that style, playing the way that Tommy Lloyd wants to play. Right. They still got the same point guard, and they lost 3 first-round picks.
True.
They lost Ben Mathurin, they lost Dalen Terry, and they lost Christian Koloko.
Yep.
And you're going to tell me that now
had a hell of a year.
you trust? And they aren't what they were defensively. They lost their studs and they lost their difference.
Only because I said I think those guys will take a step, and I think they'll respond because they'll draw on their poor postseason performances, and I think that's a motivating factor that they're going to be more dialed in for it, particularly early on. They could lose against someone that we don't know what the seedings will be, but I think I'm not ready to say Houston, but I think they can, depending on the matchups or whatever, but I see them getting through the first weekend.
Well, yeah. I mean, you should. They're going to be a top 2 seed.
Well,
if they can't get through the first weekend,
there's always an 8-9. There's always an 8-9 that upsets somebody.
There's going to be some 8-9 teams this year that you just don't want to play.
Yes.
That's going to be, there'll be more.
And my thing is, I think that Arizona is one of those teams where if you are a 7 seed or a 10 seed and you get them in your bracket, you're not going to look at them and be like, oh man, we're not gonna be able to do this, or like, oh man, what are we gonna do? Like the way that you would with the Houston, or the way that you would with an Alabama, or maybe the way that you would with some of these other teams, right? I think you look at Arizona,
but you can say that right now. I'll say this: I'm more confident in Arizona right now than I am in UCLA, just because of health reasons.
What if we knew that Adib Bono was going to be back?
But we can't play what ifs now. We're here where we are, and we know we're in a situation. He's injured. And it's concerning enough that this tournament's going to come around quick. Let's just say worst case scenario, it's a sublux, a shoulder popped in or popped out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyone that's had shoulder injuries, no. He's going to have limitations.
Mm-hmm.
And how much of that, how comfortable is he using that?
I've never had a shoulder issue. It sounds miserable.
Oh, my God. I've had 3 surgeries. Trust me, you don't want it. It's the worst. If
you had
anybody had it, I've torn an ACL that had shoulder surgeries. Give me an ACL any day of the week.
Really?
The good thing is that Dean Bona, like all he's got to do is just kind of run around out there, like
But he's got to play with a level of physicality
You're
still.
right.
Yeah,
You're
that's
right. You're right. Right. All right. Let me ask you this: we got about a minute left. UCLA, any chance of getting the 1 seed after losing this? And does it matter whether or not Purdue wins the Big Ten tournament tomorrow? Does Purdue have to win to get that last number?
Well, I think they have to because Texas has to be on strong consideration of one now. So if
the
you
problem with like Texas has 14 quad one wins, the biggest problem with Texas, lost 8 games.
Hey guys, just a reminder, our sponsor for today's episode is Run Your Pool. They are hosting the Field of 68 Bracket Challenge. This year, they are giving away $1,500 in free prizes. It's all an incentive for you to get on there and find out just how good their platform is. I've been using them for my bracket pools for years. I've used them for Super Bowl squares. I use them for everything that I need to use them for. The biggest survivor pool that I'm in for both NFL and NCAA tournament is by Run Your Pool. So go check them out. The link's below. Tap in.